boys.
You good? Still getting there.
Your knee doing okay?
Excuse me?
Your knee?
No missed time.
That's a relief. Coach, I guess first and foremost, can you just talk about the addition of Richard Sherman to your team and what he's going to bring?
Yeah, a veteran, experienced guy who's been a Pro Bowl player. One of the smartest players. Having gone against Sherman, it's really odd to see him on our team. You know, we battled many times over the years, and but yeah, really glad to have him. And obviously, he's got a lot to learn and get into football speed right now. But it's a really good addition.
What's the expectation of when he could join you guys out on the field in games?
We just have to see what kind of shape he's in. He's got so much to learn, so we'll just wait and see.
I mean, would it be realistic to think that he could be out there this week, or should there be more patience?
There'd be a bunch of guys hurt if he's out there this week, but we'll wait and see.
Can you update us on that? Like, I know you said you would know more on Wednesday, like some of those guys.
Yeah, the only guys not practicing today were Gronkowski, Gio Bernard, and JPP.
You said it would take a bunch of guys being hurt for him to join them this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, he's got so much to learn, and he hasn't had pads on in so long, but he does know how to play the game.
Bruce, is the schematic fit going to be a tricky one for him? It should have pretty seamless going into top speed.
It's a good fit. It's just so much terminology that's so different from where he's been that he's got to learn, you know.
I know there was an incident with him in July. I'm not sure how much you've had a chance to talk to him about that, or what kind of support systems are in place within your organization to help him.
I don't think Richard needs any support systems, but we have all he needs if he needs one. And I've known him for a long time, and 10, 11 years for one incident doesn't affect me. We all make mistakes.
Bruce, to still see Antonio Brown still on the COVID list, is there a point where you worry about Sunday, or are you still confident he could be back with his team?
No, he'll be back tomorrow no matter what. So his 10 days are up, so he'll be back tomorrow.
As much as Sherman can bring to you as a player, you've got a young group back there. How much is mentoring? It's the one level we didn't really have for a guy beyond 4 years.
Yeah, and that's the thing for him. For him to do that, it's kind of like Brady last year. He got to learn the plays before I can help out. And but studying film and the things that you do on a daily, schedule as a pro, he can help with.
Was Jamel's injury, I know you were talking to him before last Sunday, was it Jamel's injury that said we need to add something?
It's very similar to last year's situation with AB. Mike was limping, Chris was hurt, so we've got a couple of guys that are a little banged up. Let's just get the best insurance policy possibly can. And to get veterans like that, it's way easier than putting rookies out there.
Bruce, Jamel is okay now, or what's his status?
Yeah, he practiced today, and he's a little bit sore, but he's practicing.
Bruce, Carlton and Richard have both kind of been left side corners most of their career. Not that there's some flexibility. Is that something you guys have already talked about?
Yeah, Carlton's very flexible. We've moved him around a bunch in his career so far, and he's followed guys across the field, so it's nothing big for him if that happens.
Hey, Bruce, Belichick talked earlier today, was very complimentary of you and your team. He was asked about how this offense compares to what Brady ran in New England, and he said totally 100% that it has his imprint on it. He said the running game different, but the passing game is the passing game. It's pretty similar. You could call almost every play from the flare control to the protection. Do you worry at all that if it's that similar, that their staff knows it well?
Well, I think they copied a lot of ours, so it's probably the same. Ask them which film they watch every week. They'll know. They always picked ours up and watched it, so it's the same stuff.
Coach, what's your impressions of Mac Jones?
Oh, I loved him coming out. Smart, pocket player who was going to get the ball out. Was very accurate. Obviously, pressure didn't bother him. He played in big games there, and he led his team to the championship. So yeah, he's legit.
talked about after the game against the Rams that communication was an issue on the back end with your secondary. Obviously, it gets impacted when you move new pieces in and out. But how much is having a veteran as savvy as Sherman is back there helping kind of communicate some of the things he's seeing?
If and when he gets back there and knows what he's doing, it should help. But the guys that are out there, they just got to play a little bit better.
Sherman's always played on the West Coast, and ever since he's born there, obviously, so it's a big change.
Yeah, he thought it was hot today.
Oh, boy.
He said that Tom Brady actually reached out to him even before the front office did. We've had a lot of players come in here that had either relationships or Brady has reached out to. How much is his recruiting ability been an asset for you guys?
I think when you talk about a veteran player and you want to win a championship, and Tom calls you, you're going to listen. You know, you're going to listen, especially after and knowing the roster that we have. And so, yeah, I think there's probably a bunch of veterans out there wishing he'd call them.
Coach, going back to the Heat today, I mean, how much can you tell about how Richard Sherman's in football shape or not just from today?
Hard. We'll see. We'll measure everything he does. You know, we've got all those ways of measuring every movement in their body. So, yeah, we'll measure some of that and see how he goes, see what he does tomorrow, and see where he's at.
You want him to be in terms of playing weight?
Excuse me?
Is he at where?
As playing weight?
Yeah. Is he where he needs to be there?
Oh, yeah.
Was he the only guy in pads today? Were you all in pads? Was everybody in pads today, or just him?
Just him. Just he got to put some on. You know. You know, I mean, he hasn't had them on all year, so I say, hey, if you want to wear them, the rest of us aren't, but you need to wear yours probably. And if you want to wear them again tomorrow, we'll count it as two days in pads.
Put them on, I guess.
Couple more. Anything else?
Bruce, what kind of challenge is it just for like Todd Bowles to get a guy like obviously Sherman comes in with the smarts, but to get someone up to speed, or is it Todd or is it somebody else that's like, I guess just the things that you're doing off the field to get someone like that up to speed as fast as possible?
Yeah, I mean, he'll put the time in. Kevin Ross will spend a ton of time with him. Todd will spend personal time with him to get him up to speed as fast as possible. It's not like he has to play this week, so we have time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Richard,
All right. First one. Y'all doing it outdoors in the heat. They couldn't put us in the air condition. Now, what?
We heard you thought it was hot today.
Okay. The way you question that, the way you put that, I feel like I can't. That's a setup. No, it was a nice, cool day. You know, it was just like Seattle, 65 and sunny and no humidity at all.
It rained like Seattle too.
Right. It's just somehow still hot when it rains. But
It's not that misty rain. It's that heavy, like just falls.
right, messes up your hair, and then you go out and it's gonna stand the test of time. But yeah, it was a hot day, but I enjoyed it. You know, got to go through the motions, got to get some reps in. It felt good.
do you know any of these guys in the Bucs secondary already? Have you communicated or talked to them much?
No, not really. You know what I mean? I know their work. You know, I mean, they had a heck of a run last year through the playoffs. They played really fantastic football. So I've watched them on tape. I've never had a chance to meet them, but they're all real fun guys to be around. You know, I mean, I've been here for one day, and we've had a good time.
Do you have a relationship with Byron Leftwich? Because he came over and gave you a big, giant hug.
Yeah. I mean, I got a relationship with all of them. You got to think they were in the NFC West with me my whole career until they left to come to Tampa. So in Arizona, we had a lot of battles over the years. So there was a lot of mutual respect there, mutual respect for what they do, what their scheme is. Todd as well. So it's fun, with our powers combined.
Richard, you had a lot of opportunity.
The same thing I think I usually bring. You know, I think I bring a level of leadership, accountability. I think I bring a high level of play. I think sometimes from the outside looking in, people think, oh, man, he's this old, and that changes the way you play, but it really doesn't. You know, my standard of play is just higher. You know what I mean? The standard that people hold me to is just higher. I'm not allowed to have bad games. I'm not allowed to give up catches, without getting killed. So I think the accountability part, I'll bring that, and hopefully I'll earn the respect of my teammates.
said
lot
when
of
Tom
opportunities.
called.
Sorry, I was trying to go in order.
You had a lot of opportunity, obviously. Other teams were interested. And even before the front office called, Tom Brady calls you. We know your past with Tom and the respect you have, even though you've had the back and forth. But how influential is that? I mean, there's a lot of other decisions that go into it.
Well, there's a ton that goes into it. Obviously, the biggest part is your wife. You know what I mean? What she said, got to say. I mean, she's the one that checks off the box. And honestly, that was the final go ahead when she says you can go across the country and I'll hold down the ship. So that was a huge part of it. But me and Tom have had a great relationship over the years. I think people get confused on the field stuff, but we've texted over the years and had a really cool relationship and always thought it'd be really cool to play together if we had the opportunity. And it's crazy how things shake out, when they shake out this way and the opportunity presented itself. Obviously I talked about the relationship with BA and Todd and all those guys and Byron. So it was a perfect situation, perfect fit, and I'm excited to be here.
You mentioned you have to run it through your wife, which means you're a smart man, but also do you just go, hey, honey, like Tom's on the phone and Tom says I should come here, so like your thoughts?
I mean, it was like, hey, San Francisco called. How do you feel about that? They're not offering anything yet. What do you feel about this? Seattle's kind of stringing you along, haven't offered anything. Tampa is like the most aggressive. Tom's actually called, and kind of once he calls, it's like, you better come or you're gonna regret not coming. Is what it seems like. So once that definitely went into the conversation, and she was right on board. She thought this would give me the best opportunity to go do what I loved and to go play at a high level and have a chance at chasing the trophy. Obviously in San Francisco they have a fantastic team as well, so the opportunity would have been there as well. But it's a fun environment. I tried to wait as long as I could to avoid the heat. Not heat, but whatever this is. But I think I timed it right.
How wild is it how quickly do things happen where you get on a plane and the next morning you're out wearing your new uniform and practicing again?
Well, this is my 11th year, so I've never been on the other side of it. I've never not had training camp, not had the off season, not had that. So I've never been on that side of it. That was kind of weird, because you're training by yourself, you're lifting by yourself, and that's why your support system comes in a big. My wife is getting you out the bed like, hey, go, get out the house, go, run now, don't come back for a couple hours, like making you get out, like even on the days you don't feel like working out. So I think it challenges you in a different way, and I appreciated that. And once I came out here, football is football. Like that's one thing the good Lord has blessed me with the ability to do at a high level, and to see things and be able to kind of get out my bed and do it. I just got to get the conditioning.
How much time do you think you'll need, Richard?
Sorry, I'll go up there.
How much time do you think you'll need before you're game ready?
It's anybody's guess. I need at least a week of practice. You know what I mean, to really hone things in, to play at the level I'm capable of. I think it'd be foolish to expect me to come out this week and play at a super high level. If I did it, it'd be another thing to chalk up as a cool thing I did. But I think the expectation is for me to train and to get in shape and to give me an opportunity for the following game.
But even if you're not at your, where you feel you're most comfortable, would you, in your mind, you think you're going out there Sunday?
Well, in my mind, I always think there's a chance, you know what I mean? But, I don't call any shots around here. So obviously it's up to the staff, and I don't think they would, you know what I mean? I literally was learning the plays on the field today. So it's going to take a second, and I obviously catch on really fast, but it's still going to take a second to get through the playbook and really, really feel comfortable.
This was a really challenging off season for you off the field. Are you in a better place now? What steps have you taken in your personal life to get back on track? And do you feel like you have the right support system in place here in Tampa?
Yeah, that's been one of the really cool parts about, there's always a silver lining to everything. Obviously it was an unfortunate situation and regrettable. But it led to some really positive changes, some help, some therapy, some tools that I didn't have before, to address some things that you kind of let stack up in your mind. You know what I mean? You never have time to address them. You never have, it's not the right moment. It's not the right place in your life to deal with these emotions and feelings. And it really forced me to step back and go ask for help and get the help I need and not be afraid, you know what I mean, and be proud to ask, you know what I mean, and in that, it's been remarkable how many other people have said they had the same issue, you know what I mean, because you always feel like you're alone. You always feel like, hey man, I'm the only one dealing with this, and you know what I mean, I don't want to burden anybody else, or I don't want to, make anybody else deal with my problems. But I think that's at least in the black community, it's one of those things that you never taught to do. You know what I mean? Taught to seek counsel, to seek help. You always feel like, hey man, I'll deal with it. Tough it out. You know what I mean? Let's get to the next play. In football terms, let's get to the next play. It's like you give up a touchdown. It's like you forget about it. Like next play, I can get an interception. And the same kind of goes through in life. Something tragic or terrible happens in your life, and you never really address it. You're just like, hey, I have to get better and keep pushing towards my dream. So I kind of can't deal with that right now. Sorry, long story short. It ended up being a positive thing, and I do feel like I have the support system in my wife and my family, and obviously here we talked about it, and they have a great team and a great staff that are very aware and helpful.
Don't ever apologize for saying what's on your mind. Do you think that have you had players or just people in general say that they've sought counseling maybe because you have been so open about your struggles and your challenges?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people who've DM'd me, like, man, I've been going through the same thing, and I thought I was alone, and I appreciate you kind of putting yourself out there. And obviously, just being in the public eye all the time, it's not like I purposely put myself out there, you know what I mean? But in those situations, you can either take accountability and try to help as many people as you can through a bad situation and turn it into a positive situation, or you can hide. And I chose not to hide. I don't hide and shy. It was unfortunate. I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I go through the ups and downs just like anybody else, and that was a moment. And I'm thankful that I've been able to get past it and become better for it. Sorry, I missed you like that.
That's a lighthearted question on the heels of that. Of the numbers available, you pick number 5-time Pro Bowler. Any reasoning?
My son's born on the 5th. Yeah, my son's born of February. So 2-5 just kind of goes into a lot of things. But sorry.
So Sunday, Tom obviously returned to New England. You've experienced going back to Seattle. What is the week like that for you when you can recall what that return was like for you, that we can understand what Tom might be dealing with this week?
Well, like I think he already alluded to, it's familiar. It's familiar in so many ways, but different in so many ways because you never stood on the other sideline. You never went to the other locker room. You never walked through the other tunnel. You've never heard the crowd not with you. And I guarantee you when we go there, there'll still be a lot of 12 jerseys in the stands, and it'll be weird for them as well to root against the man whose jersey they're wearing. And I think he's such a pro's pro. He's been doing this 20 years. He'll compartmentalize it enough to be able to go out there and execute it the same way he has done through so many other games and so many other obstacles. But I'm sure after the game, when he gets to take a second to take a deep breath and stand on the field after the game and really reminisce, he'll probably have a moment. So if you guys want to catch him, it'll probably be then. During the game and before the game, he'll be in his routine, I'm sure, and he'll just want to get the job done. Once he gets the job done, that's when you kind of let your hair down and you let your emotions fly.
Did you get to ask him, "Are you happy, bro?"
Right. We did have a great conversation. We didn't get there yet, but I think we will eventually.
When that incident happened, Are You Mad, Bro? You made T-shirts. You said you tried to get one to him, couldn't get his address. Do you think he will accept a You Mad, Bro T-shirt now?
Well, he actually sent me a jersey. We exchanged jerseys maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and he said, "I'm still mad, bro." He wrote it on the jersey, so yeah, I got it. I'll see if I can find a picture of it and post it. But he's a great sport about everything, man. He's just a competitor. We're a lot of the same spirit in that regard. You know what I mean? Anything that it takes to win. Obsessed about this game. A lot of what Kobe Bryant stood for. The late great. And so you can appreciate about each other, and that's what kind of attracted me to come, because I know that, he's the same kind of animal I am. You know what I mean? For better or for worse. You know what I mean? You'll do whatever it takes to get these wins and to find a way to get your team where they need to be.
Where's that jersey right now?
It's in the safe.
It's not even hanging like on a wall?
It's very dangerous to hang up jerseys like that now. You know what I mean? I got a lot of jerseys hanging, but I wanted to frame that one in A-Rod's in a special place, so I don't want to, I don't want to do it wrong.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.